If you've spent any time learning about MBTI, you've probably noticed something strange. The same cognitive function can seem completely different depending on which personality type is using it. So, which description is actually correct? The answer is all of them. Let's find out why. Part 1. Understanding the function. Extraverted sensing is a cognitive function that focuses on what is happening right now. It pays attention to the immediate world through the senses, constantly taking in real, observable information without filtering it through theories, predictions, or abstract interpretations first. If something can be seen, heard, touched, measured, or directly experienced, extraverted sensing naturally notices it, rather than asking, "What could this become?" Extraverted sensing asks, "What is actually here?" It trusts reality as it presents itself. That means it quickly notices details that other people might overlook, like subtle changes in someone's expression, the layout of a room, the condition of a machine, or opportunities that appear in the moment. Because it stays grounded in direct experience, extroverted sensing is highly adaptable. It doesn't need every situation planned out in advance before taking action. Instead, it gathers information continuously as events unfold, making adjustments based on what's actually happening rather than what was expected to happen. One of its greatest strengths is responsiveness. When circumstances suddenly change, extroverted sensing often changes with them almost effortlessly. If the weather shifts during a hike, if equipment unexpectedly fails, or if a conversation takes an unexpected turn, it reacts to the new reality instead of getting stuck wishing things had gone according to plan. This also means extroverted sensing values experience as a teacher. Reading about something has its place, but eventually the question becomes, have you actually done it? Practice, experimentation, and first-hand involvement provide the richest information because they reveal details that can't always be captured in descriptions or theories. A common misconception is that extroverted sensing is only about thrill-seeking or extreme sports. While people who strongly value this function may enjoy exciting experiences, excitement isn't the function itself. At its core, extroverted sensing is about engaging with reality as it exists. That engagement could involve repairing a car, cooking a meal, playing an instrument, noticing someone's mood through body language, or responding effectively during an emergency. Another misconception is that extroverted sensing ignores thinking or planning. That's not true either. Every personality uses all 8 cognitive functions in different ways. Extroverted sensing simply contributes immediate, concrete information to the decision-making process. Planning still happens, but it's built upon what is actually observable rather than speculation alone. Perhaps the best way to think of extroverted sensing is as the mind's connection to the present moment. It keeps a person grounded in reality, aware of changing circumstances, and ready to interact with the world as it truly is, instead of as they imagine it to be. Where things become especially interesting is when we look at how a person's relationship with extroverted sensing changes depending on where it appears in the cognitive stack. Part 2. Hero Function. When extroverted sensing appears as the hero function, it belongs to ESTP and ESFP. The hero position is the function a person trusts most naturally. It feels effortless, dependable, and almost automatic. Someone with hero extroverted sensing doesn't usually question whether the information coming from the outside world is accurate enough to act on. Their first instinct is to engage directly with what's happening. These individuals tend to have an impressive awareness of their surroundings. They often notice changes before other people do, whether that's someone subtly losing interest in a conversation, an unusual sound coming from a machine, or an opportunity that appears unexpectedly. They're rarely disconnected from what's happening around them because their attention naturally stays anchored in the present. This trust creates remarkable adaptability. While other people may hesitate because their original plan is no longer working, hero extroverted sensing often responds with something closer to, "All right, what's the situation now?" Instead of resisting change, they treat it as new information to work with. They're also naturally action-oriented. If they want to learn photography, they'll pick up a camera. If they want to improve at cooking, they'll start making meals. If they want to understand a sport, they'll go play it. Experience comes before mastery, but experience also comes before endless preparation. This confidence can be contagious. During moments of uncertainty, hero extroverted sensing often becomes the person who calmly reacts instead of freezing. They're comfortable making decisions with incomplete information because they trust themselves to continue adapting as more information becomes available. Of course, complete trust has its blind spots. Because reality feels so immediate and compelling, Hero extroverted sensing may sometimes underestimate the importance of long-term planning or hidden patterns that aren't immediately visible. They can become so focused on responding to today's situation that tomorrow receives less attention than it probably deserves. Still, their greatest strength remains their willingness to fully engage with life instead of merely observing it. They understand the world through participation, and that confidence forms the foundation of their relationship with extroverted sensing. That same function looks quite different when it moves into the parent position. Part 3. Parent function. When extroverted sensing appears as the parent function, it belongs to ISTP and ISFP. The parent position is less about personal confidence and more about responsibility. Rather than asking, "What do I want to experience?" it often asks, "How can I use this ability to help someone else or handle this situation well?" People with parent extroverted sensing usually have a calm, dependable relationship with the present moment. They aren't trying to prove how capable they are. Instead, they use their awareness to keep situations running smoothly and prevent unnecessary problems. Imagine someone assembling furniture with a friend who's becoming frustrated. Parent extroverted. Sensing quietly notices that one piece is backwards before the mistake becomes much larger, or perhaps they're driving and immediately notice road conditions changing, adjusting their speed without making a big deal out of it. Their awareness often shows itself through quiet competence. Because of this responsible attitude, they frequently become practical problem solvers. When someone else feels overwhelmed, they're often able to simplify the situation by focusing everyone's attention on what can actually be done right now. Instead of becoming trapped in hypotheticals, they gently redirect people toward reality. There's also a steady confidence here. Unlike the hero position, which often enjoys testing itself against new experiences, the parent position tends to ask whether action is actually necessary. Just because something can be done doesn't mean it should be done. Their experience teaches restraint alongside responsiveness. That doesn't mean they never enjoy excitement. It simply means their relationship with extroverted sensing has matured into something more measured. They're less interested in chasing every opportunity and more interested in responding appropriately to the opportunities that genuinely matter. In many ways, parent extroverted sensing becomes a stabilizing influence. Its confidence isn't loud. It's the kind of reliability people appreciate when something unexpectedly goes wrong. As we continue moving down the stack, that same awareness of the present becomes much more playful. Part 4. Child function. When extroverted sensing appears as the child function, it belongs to ENFJ and ENTJ. The child position is comfortable, enjoyable, and naturally optimistic, but it's also still developing. People with child extroverted sensing often experience the physical world with genuine enthusiasm. They enjoy being present, trying new activities, exploring places, or simply appreciating experiences for their own sake. There's often a refreshing sense of wonder here. A beautiful sunset, delicious food, a fast car, an exciting game, or learning a new physical skill can bring genuine joy because the function isn't weighed down by as much responsibility. It gets to play. When life is going well, child extroverted sensing can make someone surprisingly spontaneous. After spending a great deal of time focused on goals or responsibilities, they may suddenly decide it's time to go hiking, visit a new restaurant, or take a weekend trip simply because it sounds fun. However, like any child function, its optimism can sometimes become naive. They may occasionally assume they can improvise their way through situations without fully appreciating the practical skills required. They enjoy the experience itself, but sometimes overlook the preparation that would make the experience go more smoothly. There's also a tendency to swing between intense focus on responsibilities and periods of wanting to simply enjoy life. When the child function finally gets attention, it often wants to make the most of it. As people mature, this function usually grows through positive experiences. The more they allow themselves to engage with the present in healthy ways, the more confidence they develop in using extroverted sensing without feeling guilty or irresponsible. Eventually, we arrive at the most complicated relationship of all. Part 5. Inferior Function. When extroverted sensing appears as the inferior function, it belongs to INFJ and INTJ. The inferior position is often misunderstood as nothing more than a weakness, but it's much more complicated than that. It's a function people frequently admire and want to develop, yet one they struggle to trust consistently. Someone with inferior extroverted sensing may admire people who seem naturally confident in the physical world. They might look at someone who effortlessly adapts to changing situations or confidently handles practical challenges and think, "I wish I could do that as naturally." Because of this insecurity, they may hesitate before acting. They often prefer having time to prepare, think things through, or understand the situation before jumping in. Acting too quickly can feel uncomfortable because they don't fully trust their ability to respond in real time. Ironically, they're often far more capable than they believe. When circumstances genuinely require immediate action, they can sometimes surprise both themselves and everyone around them by performing remarkably well. In those moments, extroverted sensing rises to meet the situation. Afterwards, though, they may wonder how they managed it. Stress can also reveal the complicated relationship they have with this function. Under prolonged pressure, some people may swing toward unhealthy forms of sensory escape or impulsive behavior that feels unlike their usual personality. Others may become overwhelmed by immediate details, feeling as though the outside world is demanding more attention than they can comfortably give. Growth comes from gradually building trust rather than forcing dramatic change. Small, repeated experiences of engaging with reality help them discover that they don't have to predict every outcome before taking action. They learn that responding in the moment is a skill that improves through practice, not something that has to be perfected before it's attempted. Over time, the goal isn't to become someone whose life revolves around extroverted sensing. Instead, it's to develop enough confidence in the function that the present moment stops feeling intimidating and starts feeling accessible. As that trust grows, one of their greatest insecurities can gradually become one of their most valuable strengths, not because the function itself has changed, but because their relationship with it has. By now, hopefully you've seen that this cognitive function never actually changed. Whether it appeared as the hero, parent, child, or inferior function, it was always the same underlying cognitive process. What changed was the person's relationship with it. One position trusted it instinctively, another used it to support others, another approached it with comfort and curiosity, and another admired it while struggling to fully trust it. In the next video, we'll continue by exploring how this same cognitive function appears in the shadow through the nemesis, critic, trickster, and demon functions.